Did the Vision really turn on Seth Rollins? And if so, then who is going to replace him as the third man? Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are now an on-screen duo, but there's one issue and very few people are talking about it. And who is the real winner of the NXT Invasion storyline? I'm Ben Allison here at Wrestling Republic, and a lot of wrestling happens in a week from America to Japan to the UK to Mexico. And based on all of that wrestling that I have consumed and analysed, here are my 5 key findings. In at number 5, is there a chance that this Invasion storyline is actually all a ruse? A lot of fans online are already theorizing this. They are saying that Seth told Braun and Braun to turn on him because after all, he's always said he will do anything to stop CM Punk from being champion. And it is interesting, this turn happened after CM Punk became the #1 contender. But honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think this is real. Firstly, from a purely kayfabe standpoint, why would Seth tell Bronson to hit a tsunami on him? One of the most protected moves, right? That is literally putting people out for weeks. Surely if this was all staged, then sure, a spear. But then after that, just get Bronson Reed to hit him or stomp on him or something, not to do a big move such as a tsunami. But secondly, we've all seen the photos of Seth Rollins walking around Australia wearing a sling, and I do think unfortunately it is very possible he is injured, and that is the reason why they've done the turn seemingly out of nowhere. And would they really try and do a double fake where they're faking his injury and this turn? I mean, look, it's possible, right? It is possible, but I just think it's highly unlikely. I reckon what they're simply going to do is just write Seth Rollins off television now. He is gone while he heals from this injury. I think from an on-screen perspective, I don't even think they're going to try and sell an injury or anything like that. I think just from pure embarrassment, he's just disappeared and he vacates the title. Next up, in at number 4, Mike Santana is the real winner of the NXT Invasion storyline. Whether you loved the Invasion story or you felt it was a little bit of a letdown, the fact which is undeniable is Mike Santana's stock has increased big time. Because let's face it, previously casual wrestling fans either didn't know who he was or just knew him as part of a tag team from All Elite Wrestling. But they definitely did not see him as a main event guy. And while of course the TNA hardcore fanbase have seen Santana around the main event scene for around a year now, the fact is he is now a proper main eventer. He is the TNA World Champion. He defeated Trick Williams at Bound for Glory, and that is a star-making moment for him. And of course, other people have benefited from this partnership as well, most notably Jordynne Grace and Joe Hendry. But let's face it, I do think Jordynne Grace would have signed with the WWE regardless. And as for Joe Hendry, he was already viral. That's why the WWE brought him in. So Santana is really the only guy who has had his career properly made from this. In at number 3, I love the idea of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black being an on-screen duo, but I do have one issue with this, and nobody's really talking about it. Of course, this past Friday on SmackDown, Zelina Vega passed Aleister Black a fireball to put in the face of Damian Priest to help him get the victory in that last man standing match. And considering they are a real-life married couple, they're going to have chemistry, and I do think this could be very interesting for both of them, and I'm excited for it. But my concern is a simple one. There has always been a lot of comparisons between the booking and presentation of Aleister Black and the presentation of Karrion Kross. And now Zelina Vega is suddenly filled in almost a Scarlet Bordeaux type of way. I'm a little bit worried it's kind of going to be a copy and paste of that. I mean, let's not forget that Kross and Scarlett did that exact same fireball spot, not once, but twice. And I really don't like the idea of releasing talents just to then basically give 2 other talents their gimmicks. Yes, that was done in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s to an extent, but I don't like the idea of it. But hopefully that's not what's happening here. Hopefully this is going to be something unique and exciting, and like I said, I am here for it and I'm excited for it as well. Before we get into the top 2 key findings, please do me a massive favour and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Plus, let me know your thoughts on my 5 key findings in the comments down below, and even leave your own as well. Plus, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. In at number 2, Konosuke Takeshita is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but who is he going to face at Wrestle Kingdom? In case you missed it, yesterday Zack Sabre Jr. lost the title to Takeshita in what was an absolute hell of a match. It was fantastic. But now there is the question of who Takeshita is going to face at the biggest New Japan show of the year. Now, of course, Hiroki Goto did challenge him after the match, but it has since been announced that that match will take place ahead of January 4th. And while there are a lot of names being chucked in the hat right now, from Shota Umino to Evil, I mean, I don't think that can even happen now because they've announced Evil's opponent today, to even Kenny Omega, I think ultimately it's going to come down to one of two guys. The first one, and this is the one which I believe should happen, and I believe is the one most likely to happen, is Yota Tsuji. Of course, he's the global heavyweight champion, and I'd presume in this instance they would do title for title. And yes, they only did that with the Intercontinental Championship a few years ago, and I do think it's too soon to do it again. I do think at this point this is the best option they have, and the option they are going to go with. But the other option is AEW star Kazuchika Okada, because they've been teasing tensions between the two in the Don Callis family as of late, and I do think it is very possible that a match between Takeshita and Okada happens in November at All Elite Wrestling's Full Gear show. So if Okada retains the Unified Championship then, what if at Wrestle Kingdom they do the AEW Unified title against the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in a unified title match? The pros of this is it would undoubtedly draw well in Japan. Okada has been very, very sorely missed, but the cons of it are very obvious, and that's mainly that, I mean, this is an AEW storyline happening at what would be New Japan's biggest show of the year in the biggest match of the year. And yes, of course, Takeshita is signed to both companies, but you get the point. But the thing is, New Japan, I do feel like at this point have boxed themselves into a corner. The fact they did the G1 cash-in early again, it doesn't make much sense to me. So at this point, I'm going to be honest, I just don't think they've done a good job building towards Wrestle Kingdom at all. Look, there's another, 2.5 months to go, so hopefully I'm wrong here, but there's not many shows to go. And in at number 1, someone needs to replace Seth Rollins in the Vision, and I believe it could be one of 3 options. I can't see a world in which Bronson and Braun are just going to be a tag team from here. I think they need a third guy, a third equal. And first off, the fact that Seth Rollins was kicked out makes me believe they're going to go for somebody younger, right? They want to be the future of the industry. I reckon Bronson is going to remain the oldest guy in the group by quite a distance, and I reckon this person will be and should be under the age of 30. And from Ethan Page to Trick Williams, suddenly that's just wiped out a lot of the options which a lot of people are theorizing. But to me, it should be one of these 3 guys. The first one and the least likely is Javon Evans. Look, the guy is a babyface. I think it's too early to call him up right now. But the fact is, he's not doing too much in NXT, and I reckon they could probably do it if they wanted to. The next option is the former NXT champion, Oba Femi. I mean, imagine these 3 guys together. It would be absolutely insane. One of the most stacked factions, I think, in WWE history, honestly. But at the same time, I really don't think Femi needs a faction. And that's why, for that reason, I would choose a third guy. And that third guy is somebody who's already been on the main roster for, 5 years now? And that's Austin Theory. He's only 28, he's so young, but he's already got experience, and that could help both of these younger stars when it comes to learning the ropes of the main roster, because they're both still relatively new to it. Plus, it would really revive Theory's career. In one move, it could fix so many problems. So that's why I think this faction should be Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory. But what do you guys think of my 5 key findings? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will be back next week for another episode of Allison Analysis, so make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. See you guys then. Peace!